Beth Rigby, Sky News. Secretary-General, NATO has stood united against Russia with all allies in lockstep since the invasion in 2022. Now 2 members, Canada and US, are on the cusp of a trade war. Do you fear the alliance is unravelling at the most fragile of times? And Prime Minister, President Trump says tariffs on the EU are coming. He hasn't ruled out tariffs on the UK. Are you worried about that? And be it from forcing Ukraine to the negotiating table to threatening trade wars with allies, isn't it the truth that President Trump is a bad thing for Europe's economic prosperity and security? Thank you very much.
On your first question, let me say that I'm absolutely convinced we can deal with these issues, and there are always issues between allies. It is never always tranquil and happy-going. There are always issues, sometimes bigger, sometimes smaller. But I'm absolutely convinced that will not get in the way of our collective determination to keep our deterrence strong. And when you talk trade, it is interesting to see that the trade surplus of the US getting into Europe is since 2022. They sell more to Europe than we sell to them. And the net surplus is $180 billion since 2022. So that tells you something, that there are more to look at. But going back to your question, I'm absolutely convinced it will not have an impact on our collective deterrence.
Thank you very much, Beth. Look, on the question firstly of tariffs, obviously it's early days. And I think what's really important is open and strong trading relations. And that's been the basis of my discussions with President Trump. And I know that intense US-EU discussions are planned. In relation to the issue that you link it to of Ukraine, I do think it's right for us to acknowledge the role that the US have played in relation to the joint effort on Ukraine. And that's, of course, pivotal because it's not just a question of a war or the sovereignty of Ukraine. It is not just a European issue. It's a question of global security. And I think it's very important that we see it in that context. And one thing that's come out of the awful conflict in Ukraine is actually a stronger and bigger NATO, which I think is really important. And as you know, in the Labour Party, we're really proud of the fact that we're a founding member all those years ago in relation to NATO. I think NATO is as important now as it was back then, and it's really important that it's in a stronger position. I think the discussions that we've been having between us today and the discussions I'll have later on this evening are about how we take that forward and strengthen it even further, because there has to be a very strong European element to the defence that we are providing in really difficult times. Thank you.